In the summer of 2024, in a quiet suburb of Raleigh, North Carolina, a legal battle unfolded that would become the talk of the Oakwood Meadows community. Sarah Mitchell, a 51-year-old real estate agent and president of the Oakwood Meadows Homeowners Association, had long been a polarizing figure in the neighborhood, known for her relentless enforcement of HOA rules, from fence heights to mailbox designs. Sarah had earned a reputation for wielding her authority with an iron fist. But her latest target, 39-year-old software engineer David Patel, lived just outside the HOA's jurisdiction, a fact that would soon unravel her plans. David had purchased his home on Maple Lane 3 years earlier, drawn to its location just beyond the Oakwood Meadows boundary. His property, a modest 2-story house with a well-kept lawn, sat on a parcel that had never been part of the HOA, a detail clearly outlined in his deed and confirmed by county records. David valued his independence from the HOA's restrictive covenants, which he found overly intrusive. He kept the property tidy, paid his taxes on time, and maintained friendly relations with his neighbors, most of whom were HOA members. Trouble began in April 2024, when Sarah noticed David's backyard shed, which he'd built to store tools and his vintage bicycle collection. The shed, a sleek metal structure painted to match his house, complied with all city zoning laws. However, Sarah claimed it violated the HOA's aesthetic guidelines, which prohibited unsightly structures. She sent David a certified letter demanding he remove the shed within 30 days or face legal action. David, puzzled, responded politely, explaining that his property wasn't under HOA jurisdiction and providing a copy of his deed to prove it. Sarah dismissed his response, insisting that his proximity to Oakwood Meadows made him subject to its rules. Over the next month, Sarah escalated her campaign. She emailed David weekly, citing vague HOA bylaws about community standards and claiming his shed lowered property values. She rallied a few HOA board members to her cause, though most neighbors found her complaints baseless. David, hoping to avoid conflict, met with Sarah at her home to clarify the situation. "Sarah, I'm not in your HOA," he said calmly. "My deed is clear and the county confirms it. The shed meets all city codes. Can we drop this?" Sarah, undeterred, replied, "You're affecting our community's image, David. If you won't comply, I'll see you in court." True to her word, Sarah filed a lawsuit against David in June 2024, claiming the shed violated HOA regulations and seeking an injunction to have it removed, along with $5,000 in damages for harm to the community's aesthetic value. David, frustrated but confident, hired a local attorney, Emily Carter, known for her expertise in property disputes. Emily reviewed David's deed, the HOA's covenants, and county records, confirming that his property was unequivocally outside the HOA's boundaries. "This case is frivolous," Emily told David. "We'll shut it down quickly." The court date was set for August 3rd, 2024, at the Wake County Courthouse. Sarah, representing herself with the help of an HOA board member who'd taken a few law classes, arrived with a thick binder of documents, including photos of David's shed, HOA bylaws, and letters from 3 neighbors who supported her claim. David and Emily, by contrast, brought a slim folder containing his deed, a county plat map, and a certified letter from the city confirming his shed's compliance with zoning laws. In the courtroom, Judge Robert Ellison, a seasoned jurist with a reputation for efficiency, called the case to order at 10:15 a.m. Sarah, dressed in a sharp blazer, stood to present her argument. "Your Honor," she began, "David Patel's shed is an eyesore that violates our HOA standards. It's visible from Oakwood Meadows properties and devalues our homes. Our bylaws require all structures to be approved by the HOA board, and Mr. Patel has refused to comply. I'm asking for an injunction to remove the shed and damages for the harm caused." Judge Ellison, peering over his glasses, asked, "Ms. Mitchell, is Mr. Patel's property part of your HOA?" Sarah hesitated, then replied, "Technically, no, but his property borders ours, and our bylaws state that nearby structures can't detract from our community's appearance." She held up her binder, citing a clause about adjacent property impacts. The judge nodded, taking the document but showing no reaction. Emily rose to respond, her tone measured. "Your Honor, I'll be brief. Mr. Patel's property is not, and has never been, part of the Oakwood Meadows HOA. I have here his deed, a county plat map, and a letter from the city confirming that his shed complies with all zoning regulations. Ms. Mitchell's HOA has no legal authority over my client's property. Her lawsuit is baseless, and we request immediate dismissal. Judge Ellison reviewed the documents, his expression unreadable. He turned to Sarah. Ms. Mitchell, do you have evidence that Mr. Patel's property is subject to your HOA's covenants? Sarah fumbled, repeating her earlier argument about proximity and aesthetics. It's about the community's value, Your Honor, she said. His shed is visible from our properties, and that's enough under our bylaws. The judge cut her off. Ms. Mitchell, HOAs have jurisdiction only over properties within their boundaries. Your bylaws, even if they mention adjacent properties, cannot override state property law. Mr. Patel's deed and the county records are clear. He held up the plat map, pointing to the boundary line. This case has no legal standing. I'm dismissing it with prejudice. Sarah's face flushed, her mouth opening to protest, but the judge raised a hand. Ms. Mitchell, you've wasted this court's time and Mr. Patel's resources. I suggest you review your HOA's authority before filing another suit. The gavel came down at 10:18 a.m., 3 minutes after the case began. David, sitting quietly, exchanged a relieved glance with Emily. Sarah, stunned, gathered her binder and left the courtroom without a word. Word of the swift dismissal spread through Oakwood Meadows by evening. Neighbors, many of whom had grown weary of Sarah's overreach, were quietly amused. At the next HOA meeting, attendance was higher than usual, with residents questioning Sarah's leadership. Several called for her resignation, arguing that her misuse of HOA funds for the lawsuit, over $2,000 in legal fees, showed poor judgment. Sarah, defensive, insisted she was protecting the community, but her influence waned. David, meanwhile, kept his shed and continued living peacefully on Maple Lane. He received supportive notes from neighbors, some apologizing for Sarah's actions. The incident became a cautionary tale in Raleigh about the limits of HOA power and the importance of knowing one's property rights. For David, it was a brief but satisfying victory, one that reaffirmed his decision to live just outside the HOA's reach.